Hi, we're going to talk about butt clenching. So the butt clencher is a person who overuses their butt muscles, and it's just their normal standing posture. They do it quite frequently throughout the day, and what it looks like is a real thrust forward through the hips. So with Sarah here, this is pretty much how she's standing. So her glutes here are definitely squeezing together too much. It pushes her hips forward, stretches out the front of the hips and the ligaments, and sometimes can actually put somebody into a posterior tilt, or instead of the pelvis being this way, it kind of starts to tuck under. So that can do a lot of things as far as muscles in an unbalanced way. So I thought we would just look at a few things, and I'm going to use what I like to call the 3R model. And the 3R model is release, rebuild, retrain. So we want to release something. We don't want to just attack one part of it because there's always more things involved. So we're going to release one muscle group, we're going to start to rebuild one muscle group, and then I'm going to give Sarah a posture tip to help her get out of this posture. So right now with her glutes really squeezed forward, hips pushed back, I want to give her some sort of cue that she can start thinking about throughout the day. And so with Sarah, I'm just going to ask her, what happens if you try to release your glutes a little bit? Yeah. And then the ribs can kind of come back a little bit. Good. You want a little bit of tension on your glutes because they do need to help hold us up throughout the day, but not so much where we're squeezing them and thrusting them forward. So that's going to be her retraining part, or her posture cue. And then let's do a little bit of release and a little bit of rebuilding. So Sarah, come on down onto your back. Onto your back, yeah. So we could target a couple of different muscles here, definitely the glutes, or we could target hamstrings because she does start to tend to go towards a posterior tilt, and the hamstrings will be pulled and they will be under too much tension, so we want to release them. So we're going to go into a simple little hamstring stretch that Sarah can easily do at home. And I'm going to use a strap because it's much easier than somebody trying to hold their leg up under their own power. I'm going to loop that under her, sole of her foot, and I'll hand those straps to you, Sarah. Good. And then we want the leg straight though, so it's got to be really nice and straight. And this leg can stay bent if it needs to help protect the back, and neutral spine. So that's another super important part of this. You don't want to start flattening your back and then rolling through it because we don't want the back involved. We want it in a nice, easy position, and we just want the stretch back here on the hamstring. She's probably going to maybe feel some in the calf as well. When you bring your leg up into a stretch, think about an intensity of maybe 5 out of 10. If you do it too much, all those little receptors in your muscles and tendons aren't going to let you ever get anywhere. And where you start your stretch, you don't want to end. So if Sarah's here and she feels maybe an intensity 5 out of 10, and that feels good, she's just going to stay there, breathe, and breathe right into the hamstring muscle. So on that inhale, send that breath right to the hamstrings. If you're shaking, it might be a little too much. You might have to let it go a little bit. You don't want to have any shaking there. Breathe right into those hamstring muscles, at least 3 to 5 breaths. If you start to feel a little bit of a release, then you can bring it a little bit closer, making sure you don't lose your neutral spine. And do at least 3 to 5 reps of those each side. And so then let's go to just a real easy little rebuilder to start firing the glutes up, but more glute max, get it into a good firing pattern. So lower your foot down, Sarah, and I'll grab that strap away from you. You're going to bend both your knees. Arms are going to be nice and long by your side. I'll take one of these little pads away from the back of your head because you are going to lift up. So bring your heels on a little closer. And all we're going to do is a simple bridge to start firing the glutes up. It's not as functional, she's not in standing, but also you don't want to overload somebody with everything. She's already got a standing cue and her posture cue to work on. So we'll start this one in laying down for firing glutes. The closer the heels are towards the butt, the less the hamstrings might cramp. So take an inhale, and then on your exhale, I want you to lift your butt up. Good. That looks good. And making sure that it's on. Now, not on so much that it's actually, you're feeling it kind of squeeze in towards each other again, but just some tension there. And the knees are staying in good alignment. They're not falling out to the side, which is great. Take an inhale at the top, and then exhale to come back down. Good. Making sure you find neutral again, and do one more of those. Keeping that chin down just a tad. Yep. Keep those glutes firing. Good. And then come back down. Now you might want to start just with some reps up and down using your breath, just so you can feel a good firing of the glutes and not a squeezing or an over squeezing of them. And then you could start on some holds. So go give that a try, and I'll see you in the next video.